What if I told you that the most dramatic, horrifying, and scientifically fascinating event of your entire life happens in the exact few minutes after your life ends? You won't feel it. You won't be conscious for it. But your body will begin a process so bizarre, so mechanical, and so disturbingly predictable that it almost feels like nature is dismantling you piece by piece. Today, on Dark Truth Show, we're going inside your body during the moment of death, the hour after death, the day after death, and the years after death. This is the true story of what really happens when you die. And fair warning, what you're about to learn cannot be unseen. For all the mystery surrounding death, biology is brutally simple. You die when two systems fail. 1. Your heart stops beating. 2. Your brain stops firing electricity. When the heart stops, blood flow collapses instantly. This is called cardiac arrest. Without oxygen, the brain begins shutting down within 10 seconds. Neurons start dying at the fastest rate anywhere in the human body. At around 30 seconds, your brain no longer produces organized electrical patterns. This is the scientific definition of brain death. You are gone. Machines can push air into your lungs, squeeze your heart, even keep your blood pressured artificially. But once your brain stops communicating, biology considers you dead. Yet here's the unnerving part. Many people who died briefly say they were still aware. Emergency rooms across the world report patients who were clinically dead for 2 to 3 minutes saying, "I heard the doctors talking about me. I saw a bright tunnel. I floated above my own body." The brain, starved of oxygen, fires in chaotic bursts. Some scientists believe this creates sensations of lights, floating, time distortion, life review experiences. Others think it's purely hallucination. Either way, your near-death experience is just the opening act, because when the grace period ends, usually around 4 to 6 minutes, you cross the line into biological death, the point of no return. And this is where the real show begins. Once final death is confirmed, your body undergoes one of the most undignified transformations imaginable. Because all the muscles that helped you maintain control, they instantly relax. Your jaw drops open, your eyelids lose tension. Every sphincter in your body, the ones responsible for holding things in, opens. Everything's still inside you. Gas, urine, feces, air trapped in the lungs. Even sometimes reproductive fluids all begin to escape. Not gracefully, not slowly. Just gravity, pressure, and anatomy doing their job. This is why hospital workers know. Death is a messy biological event. And within minutes, something even stranger happens. Your skin begins to pale as blood drains away. This is called pallor mortis. But then blood settles, pulled by gravity, into whatever part of your body is facing downward. This produces deep purple patches like bruises. This stage is called livor mortis, the color of death. Every forensic pathologist on Earth recognizes it instantly. This is also how detectives know if a body has been moved, because the purple settles differently depending on the body position. Inside, meanwhile, organs begin suffocating. Cells start switching to backup power, a process called anaerobic metabolism, which releases acid. Your body becomes increasingly acidic, a perfect environment for what comes next. Bacteria begin their invasion. Up until now, your body still looks somewhat like a sleeping person. But around the 1-hour mark, something dramatic happens. Your body begins cooling at a predictable rate, roughly 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. This stage is algor mortis, the death chill. If you died outdoors in cold weather, you'll cool even faster. Inside a warm room, much slower. Meanwhile, inside your body, chaos erupts. Your cells, now starving of oxygen, begin self-destructing. This is called autolysis, or self-digestion. Enzymes that were once used to break down food, repair tissue, and maintain your body's chemistry are now breaking down you. Every organ becomes softer, membranes dissolve, tissues become mush. And then comes a stage that horror movies rarely mention, but morticians know all too well. The dead can still make sounds. As air escapes from your throat, your vocal cords vibrate. This can produce moans, sighs, gurgles, low groans, even whispers. Nurses and hospice workers hear these sounds every week. They aren't supernatural, they're simply physics, but they are unforgettable. Now your body enters one of the most famous and most misunderstood stages, rigor mortis. Your muscles, deprived of oxygen, run out of ATP, the chemical that allows relaxation. So what happens? Every muscle locks. Your body becomes rigid, stiff, immobile, difficult to bend. This usually begins at the eyelids and jaw, then moves downward. By around the 6-hour mark, your entire body may be stiff as a board. Horror movies love to show the dead rising, but the truth is stranger. During the onset of rigor mortis, muscles can twitch involuntarily. This can produce finger movement, arm jerks, slight head turns, even chest contractions. None of it is life. It's simply chemistry and electricity fading out. Yet it's enough to haunt anyone who ever works in a morgue. At around 12 hours, rigor mortis is at its peak. But by 24 hours, rigor mortis begins fading as decomposition advances. And this is when your body becomes a battlefield. Your gut bacteria declare independence. You have trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, microbes that help digest your food. When you die, your immune system shuts down. There's nothing left to keep them in check. They begin consuming your organs from the inside outward. They multiply explosively. They produce gases: methane, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and those gases have nowhere to go. Your body begins to inflate. The abdomen swells. The face becomes round and bloated. The tongue protrudes. Skin stretches tight like an overfilled balloon. This is the beginning of putrefaction, the true decomposition stage. And trust me, you have never smelled anything like this. Experienced forensic workers describe it as rotten eggs, X100, vomit, feces, garbage, sour decay, something that sticks to your clothes. If the human body had a warning label, this would be it. Meanwhile, insects arrive. Flies can smell death within minutes. They lay hundreds of eggs in mouth, nose, ears, eyes, wounds, any moist opening. Within 24 hours, those eggs hatch. Thousands of maggots begin feeding. The cycle of nature has officially begun. At this stage, your body looks nothing like a human. Gas pressure continues to rise. The skin loosens and slips away in sheets. This is called skin slippage. Fluid-filled blisters form across the body. Hair loosens. Nails appear to grow. They don't actually grow, but the skin retreats, giving the illusion of growth. Inside, organs liquefy. Some collapse entirely into fluid. The pressure can become so extreme that the body may rupture, leak fluid, expel gas through orifices, even purge dark liquid from the mouth. Outdoor bodies attract scavengers. Rodents, dogs, foxes, birds, insects. But indoors, decomposition is slower and more contained. By the end of the week, the body is in full decay. If left above ground in warm, moist conditions, your body becomes unrecognizable. Soft tissues liquefy. Fat turns into a greasy, waxy substance called adipocere, or grave wax. This material can preserve parts of the body for years. Bones remain solid, but everything else becomes sludge, fluid, residue. If you are buried traditionally in a coffin, decomposition slows dramatically. Low oxygen means slower bacterial activity. The body dehydrates, shrinks, and mummifies in places. Even then, insects eventually find their way inside. Nature is patient and relentless. Within a year, most soft tissues have completely broken down. Clothes and personal items remain, bones remain, hair can remain, but everything else merges into the environment. Between 8 and 12 years, depending on soil, climate, and burial method, your skeleton collapses, calcium leaches away, bones become fragile. Eventually, even your skull fractures and disintegrates. The structural evidence of your existence fades. At this stage, only trace elements remain. Your bones become part of the soil. Minerals are absorbed by plants. Moisture wipes away the last fragments. Everything you once were, organs, skin, brain, memories, personality, returns to the planet piece by piece. In the most literal sense, you become Earth. Here's where science ends and philosophy begins. Humans across cultures have tried to explain death for thousands of years. Religions promise heaven, hell, or spiritual realms. Hindu and Buddhist traditions speak of reincarnation. Some philosophers believe the soul is independent from the body. Others claim death is simply the end, absolute nothingness. One of the strangest theories comes from Friedrich Nietzsche: eternal recurrence. The idea that you will live this life, not once, not twice, but forever, in an infinite loop. Another belief, samsara, says your soul is reborn repeatedly until enlightenment ends the cycle. Modern neuroscience suggests something colder. When the brain stops, consciousness stops. Your thoughts, identity, memories, everything is tied to brain activity. But quantum physicists and cosmologists still debate whether consciousness is more than biological machinery. And near-death experiences, although explainable medically, have elements science can't fully dismiss. So the truth is, we don't actually know. What we do know is that your body follows strict, predictable, biological laws. But you, the part that thinks, dreams, hopes, fears, may not be as simple. Fear of death is the most universal fear on Earth. It created religions. It shaped civilizations. It drives science. It influences every decision humans make. But biologically, fear of death is a survival mechanism. Your brain is programmed to avoid death at all costs, because evolution rewards organisms that successfully escape danger. But understanding death, really understanding it, can sometimes reduce fear. Because death is not an event. It's not a moment. It's not even an ending. It's a process, one that every organism goes through. We may never know what happens to consciousness after death. Maybe everything ends. Maybe everything begins again. Maybe something continues that science can't yet detect. But one thing is certain. Your body follows a blueprint older than civilization, older than humanity, older than life itself. Whether that's terrifying or comforting, that part is up to you. If you're still here, you just survived a deep dive into the darkest truth of human biology. Let me know in the comments. What do you think happens after death? And stay tuned, because on Dark Truth Show, we explore everything humans are afraid to ask.